Do you know what one of my favorite things about making videos is learning new things, and especially the way I've been trying to make videos lately, because first you learn how to make the videos, which is like 10 skills of its own, and then you try to learn how to research, which in my experience, research is hard. Obviously, this is not the end of the world playlist that probably nobody knows about anyways. Weed whackers and planes, man, they're always screwing up my shots, but DaVinci Resolve has us covered. Let's see how well it does. So basically, like every other YouTuber, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I started with OpenShot because I've always been into open source software, and I was just starting to dabble with Linux. A huge failure, but that's for another time. And I started messing around. And I had a pretty alright computer at the time because I was addicted to MMOs like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. I had enough with in-store purchases and all the crap that they throw at you and all those evil rich guys gouging every penny. But you know what? It was meant to be, because now I spend that same time editing, and it makes me feel good, no matter if I'm getting paid or not. Which sometimes I am, and not very often, at least right now, but sometimes I am. Now it's funny because everybody's so obsessed with their programs, like they love their programs, and I love DaVinci Resolve because that's the program I first got good at, and it does the trick, and I do all my creative things in it, so it's only natural that we would learn to love the program that we use all the time. I've gotten good enough at it where I could probably start a channel and be semi-successful, like teaching people. But it's just so meta. Maybe someday I'll go back on all that and do a course or something like that. I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I like teaching people. I like doing it in real life more than in a video. But it's just so meta. And YouTube is just so meta that I feel like meta shouldn't have been named meta. It should have been Google that named themselves Meta or YouTube. I don't know. But regardless, I understand. I just watched a video about an editing program called Flame, which is more of a VFX program that I had never heard of. And when the video started, I thought he was going to talk about Avid because that's what all the Hollywood people use, but it's actually Flame, which is like super expensive. It's a great video, and you should go watch it. Maybe I linked it in the description, but you should go watch it regardless. But what occurred to me is, one, I was completely wrong because I made a stupid comment about how you probably shouldn't learn it, but really I'm just talking out my butt because I don't know, maybe it's like the best program ever. It just seems like learning Blender, After Effects, or literally like any other cheaper, like more modern looking program. But then I watched some tutorials just out of curiosity on Flame, and it actually looks like it does the trick. But the truth is, it doesn't matter if you edit in Flame or CapCut or Avid or Premiere or DaVinci Resolve. It does not matter. What matters is how you cut. You got to know the software well enough to do what you're trying to do. And as much as I absolutely love the technical parts, key bindings, like I keybind like I MMO, right? I used to set all these keybinds, and I mean, it helped me editing, right? Like now I have all these macros for all these different things in DaVinci Resolve and other softwares, and I try to set up all my different softwares relatively the same way. However, none of that skill would matter if I was bad at other stuff. We're all a work in progress. And I think this is pretty obvious, and I'm not the first one to say it, but the reason that big studios use weird programs like Avid and Flame is because the people that are good at it want to use those programs. They were trained in those programs. They're good at those programs, and that fits their workflow. And the key is to figure out our own workflow. It doesn't matter if you wrote a book on a typewriter or a computer or a pencil, as long as it's good and it worked for you. And sure, we can use multiple tools, but there's always one that probably fits you the best, or at least the one that you were trained on, or the one that you know the best if it works for you, it works for you. It also goes into the old saying, if it's don't broke, don't fix it. And that's why these old editors still use the programs that they do. Not saying that any of these programs are obsolete or anything. I know Avid has had major updates throughout the years, but regardless, if the best editor or best artist, whatever it is, it uses a certain tool and they want the best artist, then they're going to allow that tool to be used. I mean, it kind of reminds me of how the military is known to use things like Windows 7, and they just pay more money for updates because they can. It's just more of a hassle. They would have to reprogram everything, patch more stuff, and all the stuff's already running on this legacy software. and when it's up to date, it's safer as well because it's already implemented and it's worked for years. And for us as creators, it doesn't matter if you're any kind of a musician, a filmmaker, an editor, whatever stage of the project that you're in, it's always key to figure out what kind of workflow works best for you. And one of the best things that I like about making videos and editing and a lot of other kinds of even when I used to make music, I love how you continually learn. You're always trying to figure out better workflows. But when a certain project comes, sometimes you default to the old ways that you already know. You got to get to a certain level of productivity before you know for a fact that that's what works for you. But even though I have a workflow that works for certain types of videos, I want to make more complex videos and research more efficiently. So now I'm learning new softwares that I otherwise wouldn't. For instance, right now I've been trying to get better at research for my End of the World series that I'm making, and I want to be able to reference and have exact themes and ideas so people can look up and see that I at least have a point or that I'm right about something that I got my point from. I've made other videos that were researched, but I need a better way. My workflow just wasn't cutting it. I don't want to just copy and paste into Google Docs or Notion. I want to actually be able to reference, and I had to look deep within inside to think of it if it was worth it. So throughout my research of trying to find a better way to research, I found the program Zotero, which seems like it's the one that's going to fit because there's some other programs, but this one can reference websites along with PDFs. And see, I'm new to this whole research software and stuff, so I'm going to try this program, and once I figure it out to a good enough point, I've committed to it for a certain amount of time, to basically when it feels right or it feels like I need to find something better, and then I'll try to experiment with other softwares if necessary. If it ends up working, then I'll keep it and just try to get better at it. But it's definitely a learning curve, but I've had to change my workflow because I'm changing that type of video. Like, I'm still going to come out with these videos. I'm also going to come out with more researched, better videos. And I was already trying to do that before, but it just wasn't working well enough, and I had to change my workflow, if that makes any sense. How do you like my mic switch? Because I could use this more expensive FAT32 mic. Sometimes it's easier just to plug in a long cable and use this shotgun mic. Cheap shotgun mic, mind you, at least comparatively speaking. And see, that's another example of workflow, because the way I've set up the other microphone, I've set it up wirelessly, and I made another video about it, but it works pretty well. I have to turn on 4 different devices, including the camera, to get it to work, but it's set up pretty well. It's all sunk in, and if it gets blown out, I have way more leeway in post, and I can manipulate it better, and it's just better files. However, this one is just a long cable connected to a microphone, and I press record on my camera, and it goes. So in certain scenarios, that's certainly better. It's certainly better quality, but this is quicker. I can leave it kind of set up and ready to grab. And sometimes this just makes more sense, and it's kind of fun. I don't know. It's fun to switch it up. It's fun to switch it up too. If it's not giving you inspiration, I mean, then you got, like, what's the point? How are you going to make something if you're not inspired? So that's important too. And I know a lot of people talk about it doesn't matter what the aesthetics are, but for me, and I think a lot of other artistic people, want it to look good. You want it to feel good to work with, especially when the majority of a big project, like a research project or a video essay, or even if you're a painter or something like that, like the majority of it is going to be the working piece of it, right? But anyways, I've been going through a lot of growing pains when it comes to be making videos, because I could just keep piling on videos. I could become one of those reaction channels. I could become something easier. I could niche down into cameras and talk about microphones all the time and get super meta, like I was talking about before. But I don't want to do that. I want to feel good about my videos, because chances are, unfortunately, and I still have hope, but chances are I might never get paid for my own videos. Hopefully, I'll be able to make at least more money than I'm making now for editing other people's videos and working that way, being on someone's team or something like that. But chances are, and maybe I'd be more likely if I did niche down, but things are pretty darn saturated, and I'm not going to kid myself, but I do want more people to watch my videos, and I want to be proud of my videos, most importantly. When I'm done with a video, I want to look back, and you always look back, or at least I always look back on anything I've ever made, no matter what it was, no matter if it was a video or something else, and I can see all the flaws of it. However, there's certain videos that I'm like, I see all the flaws in it, but I'm still happy how it turned out. And that's kind of my overall goal, why I've changed my workflow, why I've seemingly taken a break from making videos. I haven't posted in a while, but I've actually just been refining myself, thinking things through, trying to get on track. I've actually made quite a few videos that just didn't work out. One I spent a long time on, and it's still on my drive, but it's probably, if it does come to fruition, it will be different than it currently is. So, sometimes it's good. It was more experience. I don't regret doing it. I think my videos hopefully will be better in the long run, and I've more or less decided what I want to do. I want to make full-length video essay-like, short video essay-like 10 to 20 minutes. I don't know, as long as they need to be, but on the shorter side, along with videos like this that are more personable, and just a mix on the same channel. And also, this is YouTube, so why not share the journey with the viewers? That's kind of what YouTube's all about, plus liking. And if you like, you might as well subscribe if you've liked more than one video, or even if you just like to make fun of me. I don't know. Like the video, subscribe, press all the buttons, I don't know. And I'll either see you in the next video, or I'll see you in the next live.